Is it possible to still make brand new versions of the Cat Oven strategy of Cauldron Familiar and Witch's Oven on a budget in 2026? Well, thanks to the latest set, Secrets of Strixhaven, you're about to find out how we once again breathe new life into a classic strategy. Hello my fiery friends, the Infernoman here with the hottest in budget deck technology. So without further ado, join me today in the Pioneer format as we begin kicking off the first of many Secrets of Strixhaven decks in the format. This is Death in Bloom. Hey, real quick, my fire friends, just to interrupt for a moment there, I know I just called this deck Death in Bloom, but I realized that kind of makes the deck sound like a flower deck. So if you haven't already noticed from the thumbnail, it's later on just going to be referred as Witherbloom Food. So just FYI. Now that I have that cleared up, let's go actually back to the deck tech. Now, you may not want to hear this, but I am a huge fan of the silly little combo that is Cauldron Familiar and Witch's Oven. And yet, every single time I think I have run out of ideas putting these two little cards together, we get brand new cards that breathe new life into this combination. So, utilizing the latest set of Secrets of Strixhaven, we're going to be making a Witherbloom version of the deck that is going to try to keep stacking them over and over again. Utilizing some of the latest cards, we now have even more ways to stack Life Gain and Drain that can hopefully close out the game very quickly. If we don't manage to pull that off, and if that silly little combo doesn't work, we have two other backup plans that can help us go super wide or even super big. So now that you have a general idea of what we're going to try to do here, let's go ahead, let's begin by talking about the creatures in the deck. So of course, I'm pretty sure I don't have to introduce this one to many of you who've been watching my channel a lot, but we're still going to talk about it just one more time. Cauldron Familiar. Of course, the ever so famous Cat Oven combo is of course in the deck front and center. When this creature enters, ping an opponent for losing one life, and we can gain one life. Now in order to stack this, however, thanks to again Witherbloom returning with Secrets of Strixhaven, we have some brand new toys. We're going to be using here Arnin Deathbloom Botanist here. So let's briefly talk about her for just a moment. Arnin Deathbloom Botanist here is a 3-mana 2/2 legendary creature vampire druid with Death Touch, and it reads, whenever a creature you control with a power or toughness of 1 or less dies, target opponent will lose 2 life and you gain 2 life.
That is awesome!
So with this and the Cat Oven combo, we in theory can then drain our opponent for 3 at least once each turn cycle. So that's actually a really solid combo to speed up the clock, which usually ends up being very aggravating for opponents that have to face off against this nasty, cute little combo here. But considering how long this little combo can take, we do need some other ways to help us speed up the clock and help us again provide more pressure on our opponents. So our next card is going to be Experimental Confectioner here. A simple little human peasant where it says when it enters, create a food token. If we sacrifice a food, create a 1/1 Blat Rat creature token that can help us again with going wide. Granted, the rat cannot block, but we just need it for sacrifice fodder. And our next card also comes to us from Witherbloom as well. It's going to be Essence Knit Scholar here. So this is a hybrid of 3 mana. It's a 3/1 Triad Warlock here, which reads, when it enters, create a 1/1 pest token that when it attacks, you can gain 1 life off of it. And it says at the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under our control this turn, we simply draw a card. So this is our perfect little card draw engine that can help us again just make sure we have our hand full of cards as the game progresses, sacrificing Cat Oven over and over again. But of course, the final piece of the puzzle, and in case we cannot go super wide with a Confectioner here, we have the one and only Eager, Eater of Vol. So this is going to be a elemental cat here. It's a 6/6, and it has the ward ability by protecting itself unless our opponent has to sacrifice a food. Turns every single creature on the battlefield into food itself as artifacts that can also be sacked to help gain some life. As far as our non-creature spells concerned, we're going to make sure we have a lot of sack options for us to enable our abilities, and of course some removal and general utility. So to help us with the sacking abilities, we'll use Scavenger's Talent here and Witch's Oven. I'm pretty sure I've already covered more than enough of this, so just use this where you need to. Remember, you actually don't have to always use the Cauldron Familiar combo with Witch's Oven in order to get your food. You can sack rats. If you have to, you can sack your other creatures just to get the value if you need to make sure you can keep combos going. Scavenger's Talent, kind of think of it as a more expensive version of the Witch's Oven here. Anytime a creature dies, we create a food token, get it to level 2, and we can start milling either ourselves or our opponent. And we get to level 3, we can sacrifice some extra non-land permanents to bring back any creature from the graveyard to the battlefield. It'll have a finality counter on it, so make sure to choose wisely. As far as our spot removal, we only have Fatal Push here, but it's perfect for our deck because we can trigger the Revolt ability to destroy any creature with a mana value of 4 or less as long as a permanent left the battlefield under our control for a turn. For sacking beyond that, we'll also utilize your Deadly Disputer, one of the best enablers here to help us draw a bunch of more extra cards here and leave behind a treasure token for our troubles. We do actually have one copy of Witherbloom Charm here, which can kind of be a little bit like Deadly Dispute, although it has a little bit more utility. Granted, it won't leave behind for us a treasure token, but it also can provide for us other options if we need them to be. So instead of actually sacrificing an artifact or a creature like the Deadly Dispute, Witherbloom Charm allows us to sacrifice any permanent to draw 2 cards. Or, if we need to in a pinch, we could just gain 5 life, or just use it as spot removal to destroy a non-land permanent with a mana value of 2 or less. And then finally, to wrap up our package here, another Cauldron here. It's going to be Cauldron of Essence from Witherbloom. So let's talk about this card also for just a brief moment. Cauldron of Essence is a 3-mana artifact that reads, whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. And you can then sacrifice a creature and pay 3, tapping this artifact to return a creature card from our graveyard to the battlefield. You can only do this at sorcery speed, however, that's actually also really good for us. So think of this as kind of like a souped up Bastard of Remembrance for our whole game plan, because it can help us provide redundancy by making sure no matter what, we will always have a cat to bring back at any point in the game. For our mana base, we are going to be playing on a budget, so we'll just keep it to the bare minimum, which will be 10 swamps, 5 forests. We'll use some escape tunnels to sacrifice lands. This again is mostly because we want to trigger off on the off chance Scavenger's Talent for more value. We'll throw in some Riveter's Overlook that instantly sack themselves to help us fetch out whatever color we need. And then finally, our only remaining rare will be a Fountain Port here, which provides great utility for our deck. Use it to sacrifice tokens to draw cards, make some extra tokens if you need to, whether they're bluefish or treasures. If you do enjoy playing best of 3, here's what I'd recommend for you for your sideboard. For those combo and control decks you want to deal with, throw in some Duresses here to make sure that you can discard select cards out of their hand. For additional spot removal, we'll throw in Bitter Triumph to destroy creatures or planeswalkers. For Artifact and Enchantment Hate, or again, spot removal from a graveyard at instant speed, you can use Heritage Reclamation. We'll also have some extra Witherbloom Charms here, so mix and match them with your Deadly Disputes as see fit. For our small Wrath, it's going to be Choking Miasma. If you do kick it, you can put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. And then finally, you actually can swap out your Egress if you wanted to go super big with your tokens with Knight of Sweet's Revenge. It converts all of your food into actual tap lands, or again, just use it to sack and then give all of your creatures a massive boost of power as long as you have a lot of food on the field. And that is the whole deck for you in a nutshell, everyone. So as always, let's get to the more exciting part of the video. Let's go ahead and play some matches in the Pioneer Ranked format. Let's play some best of 1, and let's see how well this deck can do. But before we continue, if you do like any of the content that I do, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you watch the content. You can support me monthly for a small amount on Patreon, where I have all of my extended bonus footage posted. We also have a Redbubble spot where you can buy merch like stickers and shirts, or for free, all you can just do also is just join our growing community on Discord. Your support helps keep this channel going. All links are in the details below. Okay, my fire friends, here we go. Can our Witherbloom Food deck eat good in the Pioneer format? Well, this hand... Okay, this is actually a clunky hand. We have the lands we need, which is good. We just don't have anything in the mid-game once the Cauldron Familiar comes out. Maybe we can draw into what we need? I don't know. We'll see. Let's start with the Cat Oven. And I guess we'll just go from there. If we can at least get our card draw going or anything, that should help us out. But at least until then, I guess Escape Tunnel. Down to 18 opponents. Den of the Bugbear. Another Den of the Bugbear. Okay. Ooh, Steamkin. Okay, so are we encountering some kind of shenanigans with maybe like a Storm deck? Mono red, whatever? I don't know. Not sure what our opponent's going to try to do here, but okay. Let's see if we can just get around it. Well, they aren't in, which is nice, so we did have a mid-range option for us. So all we just need to do is slowly start building up some once we get Egra going. Bone Crusher Giants. Joy. Okay. Opponent hits us, we go to 19. I suppose we could just survive off an Egra plan once that's out. Okay, Steamkin gets bumped. Huh. Okay. Oh, it's an Embercleave shenanigans. Okay. Alright, opponents.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
I see. We will, for now, level 2. River's Overlook gets instantly sacked, once again. Make our opponent mill a little bit here. And then let's get out our Forest. Mill 2 cards off the top. No attacks. So this time we're actually just going to keep Cauldron Familiar there. Just to sponge a hit. Reverend Champion. Okay. Opponents. You will lose both cards if you do not do anything. So at this point, I think we're just going to have to just let it go. Is this the Embercleave? Okay, because they have to crack this now. Okay. They do. They put it onto Steamkin? Okay. Fire Prophecy. Okay. So I guess it wouldn't have mattered if we blocked or not. But we could still at least sponge one hit here. Get that life back. Go to 16. Go to 12. Okay, so from here... I guess we'll go level 3. We're going to wait it out here. So, plan now. Okay, Steamkin gets pumped. But, if our opponent cracks it, that's our chance to swing, or survive. Okay. Steamkin goes bye-bye. Too bad, opponent. Okay, at least we survive that. Okay, that does take off one creature offline. Nice. Whew. Okay, so we managed to survive perhaps the worst of the worst there. Igra coming in. Cauldron Familiar. Nice. Kitty Cat gonna get bigger. Mill 2 more cards. I'm just playing old school stuff here. They got the Annexes, they got the Steamkin, they got the Bone Crusher Giant, they got the Fire Prophecy. Okay, Annex coming in. But if they do that, that means Embercleave can't be used just yet. Okay. Essence in its Scholar. So... Okay. Okay, we make our cute little pest. We will sacrifice the Cauldron Familiar. This gives us actually life. But this also makes our opponent mill. And that means Igra gets even bigger. Nice. Sack the food again. Do some more milling shenanigans. Okay, well, looks like Igra might actually be the key to victory here. Okay, not too bad. No attacks yet. It's tempting to go now, but we need to make sure we can sponge that Annex. Okay, land there. Okay, all 3 of them. Do some more milling. That's actually a lot of actual pump there. So we get a lot of good value there. All right, not too bad. Down to 29. But we're going to wait it out for a moment here. 18 does sound good, but with that Embercleave still waiting in the wings, we're still not out of the woods just yet. Okay, equipping. Down to the Annex. Robber of the Rich. Okay. That means that would be 10 damage there. Okay. They steal a card from us. How do we do this here? Sacrifice here. Okay. Okay, so to block the hits, Annex has to go. Essence Knit, Scholar, block there. Okay, so those take the hits first. Then we can sacrifice this now. Get a little bit more value. Igra does do some damage there. Go to 15. And there you go, everyone. We stopped our mono-red opponent there from going off. Man, when Igra can actually make everything into food, such a goofy way to stop a lot of interactions. It's hilarious. I love that cat, by the way. Okay, my fire friends, here we go. Can our Witherbloom Food deck get a nice, easy, tasty victory? Well, from what we hear, this doesn't look good. Okay, we're gonna have to mulligan this. Okay, this works much better. Okay, so for this, we'll put back Igra for now. I want him, but we're gonna have to put him back for the time being. We can still level up the Cauldron Familiar, Scavenger's Talent, and Witch's Oven combo, at least for the time being, though. Alright, looks like our opponent is gonna play something that's gonna mess with us here. So we might have to go to Plan B. Plan B is probably gonna be trying to... Okay. We're gonna try to see if we can mill instead. Maybe that might be the better option for us. Okay, well we did get at least the Scavenger's Talent, Cauldron Familiar, and Igra. Okay, so we got him back, that's good. Okay, so for this instead... I'm not sure what's the best option here now. Got another Up the Beanstalk, so I'm guessing our opponent's going to try to ramp like crazy. We'll see if we can try to get around it, though. I'm hoping we might have a shot here. But unfortunately, we're going to get completely stopped because as long as that Authority of the Consuls exists, no matter how many food we have, we can't drain them out. Okay. We got another Witch's Oven. I guess that's fine. For now, though, let us go up this way. Okay, well, Mill Plant it is. So for here, Swamp. We're going for 1 there. Let me pass. Again, I don't know if we're going to be able to pull off shenanigans here, but we can try. We have to mill, what, 46 cards? That's not too hard, right? Right? Forest. Up the Beanstalk, number 3. Wow. Okay, opponent's really going to start drawing cards here. So from what I see here, looks like it's going to be Overlord shenanigans. I don't know if we can get around that, but we'll give it a shot. In the meantime, we're just going to be milling for days now. Mill, mill, mill. I suppose this is the reason why you can see why we actually wanted to do an alternate game plan, just in case if you run into decks that do not have a way against decks that are immune to our shenanigans. Okay. Alright, so opponent is really trying their hardest here to stop us. But we're not giving up. We're going to keep milling our opponent here. Get our next forest. More milling. And then, I guess we'll put down the other Witch's Oven. Not that we need that currently. If we can get 1 more land, then Eric at least can be pretty much immune until our opponent finds a different way to get around us. But man, that stunk. The Ride's End there, oh, that hurt us a lot. Opponent still has not to really play anything. Okay, so they got the Overlord for sure. They're about halfway through their deck now. So that Overlord still is going to be a couple turns away before it becomes a serious threat. We're going to sacrifice a food for now. I want to keep putting pressure on for mill. It's a lot of lands, though. They throw away some more lands. What a weird deck, by the way. Okay, so in this case, I guess we will Deadly Dispute. We will sacrifice 1 of our foods here. Make our mill some more. Draw some cards. Okay. Well, I guess we'll go with the second Scavenger's Talent. Level 2. This means that we can't get Eber off next turn unless we get a land, but at least we can mill faster. This was not the plan I was expecting for today's match, but okay. I'm sure at this point our opponent has to have some kind of Overlord to close out the game quick. Oh, Chandra. Wait, what? Opponents? What is this deck you're playing? I have no idea what our opponent's trying to do here. But it looks like they're going to start pinging us. Okay. So it's some kind of Naya control build? I'm so lost right now. 22 cards, though, so we're not too far off from pulling things off here. Oh, nice. All right. Well, looks like luck has given us a second chance at winning here. So I'll take it. So from here, I guess we will... Hold on, actually. We can actually go up to level 3. So we'll just do it this way. Get 1 food off here. I guess we're milling for days. 18. Okay. And then from here, get 1 more round in. There we go. Ooh, we might actually get the mill win here. I didn't think we were actually going to pull that off. Even though they are going to be getting us there, we have options now. Okay, nothing yet. If we can do at least 1 more round of milling, I think we might have a chance here. Unless our opponent has some easy, quick one-shots. They have a way to exile, but I think we might actually be able to get a little nasty, little sneaky mill win here. Field of Ruin, okay. Okay, opponent wants to swing. That's cool. We don't mind that, though. Okay, so for that, another round of sacking. There we go. All right, and I think next turn, that should be it.
A few moments later.
I guess this version doesn't really showcase the new card. Oh.
No, God!
I have no words. Okay, my fire friends, here we go. Can Witherbloom Food help us eat good in the Pioneer format? Well, from what we see here, it's going to be, again, a clunky one, but I think we can make this work. Got 2 escape tunnels, so it's going to be, again, slow on the mana, but once we start getting our pieces, we can start stalling out pretty quick. So good thing is we already have now the Witch's Oven, so that's actually great. Let's got a forest, so what could that mean? Are they ramping? Is it gonna be Simic, Selesnya, or is it just mono green? Okay, okay, so it looks like it's gonna be elves. Alright, elves it is. Okay, let's sacrifice our land now. We need a black source immediately, so get out of that swamp. Oh, nice, we got another swamp, so that's actually good for us. We can get out the Witch's Oven and the Cauldron Familiar already in one go. Nice. Okay, pass here. Okay, so once we get that third land going, we actually have we have three options. We actually start drawing cards with the Essence Scholar. Arnin will prevent our opponent from doing anything while we life gain and drain them for like 3 a turn. Or we Experimental Confectioner our way to making go wide tokens work. Oh, I just honestly wish we had at least one untapped land. One untapped land here would help us a ton. Come on, deck. Give me an untapped source. Okay, Cauldron Familiar doing its cat oven shenanigans. Scavenger Talent is not horrible. Not ideal, but I guess that'll do. The Witherbloom Charm might actually have to blow up that Clan Caller, but we'll see what we can do here. So we sack the land. Well, let's get out our green source now. Alright. No attacks, of course. So, I'm hoping, though, that means that'll be slow enough for us to actually do our thing. Elvish Mystic, okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Well, we don't mind that either, opponent. It doesn't matter whether you swing or not. We can still do our shenanigans. We still get our food no matter what. Alright, and... Cat Oven combo. Tried and true. Ooh, nice. Okay, so from here... We'll play the Forest. Arnin. Okay. So now we can actually do some real shenanigans here. So... This is where the life gain and drain fun begins. Drain him out. Bring in the food. Okay. There we go. Opponent's still also struggling on lands, which is ironic being that they're an elf deck. Elves usually have no problem with ramping. Okay. They don't have enough for a Clan Caller, but they did get the Archdruid, so that's also worrying.
I'm in danger!
Okay. Block here, of course. The cat dies. Not a huge deal, because we want as much food as we can muster up. And then from here, keep the good times rolling. Okay, good. Okay, so let's tick up first. And then from here, Witherbloom Charm destroys the Clan Caller. That's gone. So they can't pump up anymore for now. But that helps us out a ton. Because now we can start doing this. Drain him out, and mill him. Oh my goodness. Arden's actually a pretty tough... She's actually a lot more scary than people think. Cat Oven alone drains for 3 a turn. That is a huge amount. Do we get greedy here with the Archdruid? You know what? We'll let it go. Okay, Leaf Crown Visionary. That means what? That's 5 mana, 6 mana they can use right here. Ooh, bite down. Ugh. Not what I was expecting, but okay. Huh. Growing Whites of Illimok. If we only have another source to life gain and drain, maybe we have a shot here. But our opponent found a way to get around our plan by just blowing up our one creature that helped us out here. Wow, a bite down? Okay. Okay, we got another cat. That's cute too. So here's how we do this. Essence Scholar. Make our pest. Cauldron Familiar again. We will swing with the one we have. Obviously, it's going to die. Sack our kitty cat. Okay, well, I guess we'll be on the mill plan for a little bit here. But we have enough food where we can keep sacking and letting our cat sponge hits for now. The real reason we're doing this is not so much for the milling, but also just to drain him out and also, hopefully, just sponge hits and also give us enough life. Elves can go really big quick when they snowball. Oh dear. Okay, so Virulent Emissary also, I realize, is now another problem for us, because that actually helps them stay alive. If they run out their whole hand, that also will be trouble for us. Okay, So I think now I know what we need to do next turn. We need now Arnon to come back quick. Okay, so I think I know how we're going to win this. We just need to bring back one card. Just one card. Tyvar here is scary, but they're not hasty elves. So, okay, we'll draw more cards. It's fine. Okay. Another forest. All right. 2 more cards in hand, opponent. Anything else? Tyvar. Okay, so they do pump up their whole team. 7. Ugh. Well, we can sponge the hit. We have more than enough elves. I'm sorry, not... We have more than enough cats to do it. Okay, they gain life. Draw another card. Okay, 2 big swings. We can sponge both. Take both hits. Okay, make some more food. Oh, man. This might... I'm hoping we have enough to get there. I'm hoping. Do some more milling. Okay. Ram through, got out. That's good. We want those gone. Scavenger's Talon again. More milling. Push him down to 7. Oh, man, we're close. We're super close here. So we will level 3. Okay, how do we do this here? Is there a way out of this? Okay, so we sacrifice 1, 2, 3. We bring back Arnon. Make our opponent mill a ton here. More milling, more milling. You're down to 24 cards. Okay, so I think we got him here. Maybe? Okay, the Crater Hoof got milled. That was good. 6. Sacrifice again. Okay. Down to 4. 20 cards. Still not enough. Okay. Down to 3. Ooh, okay. We were up to 37 life. If they don't have anything trampoly, we might do it, but I don't know. Elvish Warmaster, okay. Opponent's still digging. 16 cards. Okay. That life gain also is really what hurts us. That honestly is really what changed the game here. Okay, gives all their creatures pump. Swinging big. 20. Alright, now they're just going for overkill.
Well, this stinks.
We tried. I'll eat my little food here just out of spite. More milling. Not that it does much else to help us out here. We go up to 40 life, which normally would be fine, but we just didn't make enough here. Alright. Alright, opponent, you got us. Ugh.
Stop! He's already dead.
What a heartbreaker. If it weren't for the fact that they started snowballing, but we could have won, but 2 big factors, blowing up our own Arnon there, and of course the biggest factor was that Virulent Emissary giving them just enough life to survive 1 more turn. And there you have it, everybody. So that was Witherbloom Food for you for the Pioneer format. And you tell me in the comments below, what do you think? Would you play this deck in any way, shape, or form? The footage we kind of didn't feel like it got quite exactly what we were hoping for. I mean, we actually did manage to do some stuff. You got to see the milling aspect. You got to see, of course, Igro get really, really big. But we didn't really get a chance to see things like Cauldron of Essence shine, which is a bit of a shame. Having said that, I do know that in recent years, it feels like Cauldron Familiar does feel a little bit more clunkier, although there are a lot of options you can work with. Maybe we went a little bit too hard with the life gain and drain. I don't know. You tell me in the comments, what do you think we did wrong? I think we might have also put in maybe too many fetches for a deck that really is not so much land-based focused, so I probably would cut back maybe a little bit on that if I was to redo this over again. Still, at the very least, we did get to see the alternate ways of possibly winning go off, which I'm actually pretty satisfied with. Having said that, of course, if you actually want to give this like a second chance with upgrading it, and if you made it this far into the video, give a shout out below in the comments because you are my true fiery friends. And for choosing to stick around this late into the video, stick around for just a little bit longer and you'll get to see how we could take this deck to the next level. Now, as far as upgrading this deck is concerned, here's what I'd recommend for you for those upgrades. So for the majority of the first couple of slots here, the mana curve of 1, 2, and 3 mostly will stay the same. Keep everything in the 1-drop slot, you can keep everything in the 2-drop slot. You can kind of mix and match things. If you want more Deadly Dispute, that works fine, but I'd like to have that at least that single Witherbloom charm on the off chance you might need the other abilities. Having said that, the 3-drop slot is going to have a small little bit of changes here. We'll be cutting back a little bit here, so what we'll do is we'll have an Arnon now, an extra one, so going up to 3, but if you haven't already noticed, we already cut away our Confectioners, so we won't be relying on the Rat plan for a specific reason, but I'll talk about that in a second. Otherwise, keep everything the same as is, and then the 4-drop slot, we'll add in actually a little bit more value here. By doing so, we'll put in Tragedy Feaster, so this can be a great option for you if you want something that has Trample and it has Ward Protection itself. Infusion means that unless if you gain life this turn, you have to sacrifice a permanent, but with the way our deck works, that's actually fine as is. So this card is pretty much a win-win no matter how you use it. And then finally, we'll only have a single card in the 5-drop slot. It's going to be Skeletal Swarming here. It reads, each skeleton you control has Trample, attacks each combat turn, but it also gets a +X+0 pump where X is the number of other skeletons we control. At the beginning of your end step, you get to create a tapped 1/1 black skeleton creature token. However, if a creature died, you get to create 2. So this can create for us a slow but powerful way to build up a lot more skeletons and gives us a much more of a stronger option for us to provide more power as the game progresses. Not to say again, you couldn't use Igra, but again, this is just a much more of a spicier option for you. Otherwise, the much more stable things you can do for the deck, even if you don't want to change anything in the main part of it, is just simply upgrade your mana base. We'll be cutting back the swamps and forests down to, again, 6 and 2 respectively, and we'll throw in some dual lands that are going to be Blooming Marsh, Overgrown Tomb, and Wastewood Verge. We're going to swap out our cheaper fetch lands for Fable Passage, and we'll of course keep the Fountain Port because we definitely want the value that we can get from all the tokens this deck creates. And then finally, the only other upgrades, of course, will be in the sideboard if you want to play this. So remove your Duresses, put in your Thoughtseize for much more consistency. We're now going to add an Assassin's Trophy because this can blow up any permanent. Granted, you will give your opponent a basic land, but if you time this right, this actually can be just hard removal without any upside for your opponent. You can keep your Witherbloom charms if you like to, but we're also going to add in now Withering Curse here. This means all creatures will get -2/-2 until end of turn, which is great for our deck. However, with the Effusion ability, if we gain life in a turn, we can just destroy all creatures instead. So this is a very, very powerful 3-drop Wrath if you know how to use it correctly. And as I mentioned earlier, move Igra to the sideboard, but again, you could swap out if you need to with Skeletal Swarmings if they're too slow, if you need something to back up the Tragedy Feaster, or if you need to pump up Knight of Sweet's Revenge, whatever your deck needs to do, you would now have a little bit more flexibility on the top end of your curve. And with that all out of the way, here are my final thoughts that I want to give you on this deck. If you're a fan of sacrificing things for value, if you're a fan of life gain and drain strategies, and if you're a fan of a deck that has the flexibility to go super wide or super big in the main board, then I would definitely say, give this deck a try, and I assure you, whether you manage to pump up a giant cat or go super wide with a bunch of rats, you're going to have a lot of fun doing so, and you'll be very surprised at how you can pull it off on today's budget, and I assure you, you will definitely not be disappointed. That's all I have for you today. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and just remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. Later!